Okay. Okay, right now. So in the last class, so I said you about command line arguments, right? So what is command line arguments is, I said the values which are sent from command prompt to, so what are the command line arguments is, the values which are sent from command prompt to Python program are called as command line arguments. And these values are stored in one variable. So there is one predefined variable, and that predefined variable is called argv. Okay, that predefined variable is called argv, right? So that is called as one predefined variable. So okay, now that is argv is a predefined variable of sys module, and argv is a variable of type list. Okay, and argv hold or store all the values sent from where command prompt, and argv hold command line arguments. It means whenever you are trying to execute the program from where command prompt. Okay, whenever you are executing program from command prompt, so if you want to send values to the command prompt, you are sending that value by using command line arguments. Okay. In 200. What is it? Okay, right. Now this is how it is. Just try to see here how this will work here. So rather than giving values to the, okay, I try to import which module I am importing here, sys module. I'm importing one module. What is that module I'm importing? Sys module. And where I'm saying, okay, print sys dot. Okay, print sys dot. Sys is what here name of the module, and sys dot what is the name of the variable? Argv. What is the name of the variable? Argv. Now save this program. Save this program in your folder with some test, some 35, right? Save this program in your folder. Yeah, we have seen split and map. So what is the doubt? Yesterday we have learned split and map. So what is your doubt? In example, what happened in an example? This one, huh? She's asking this one. So yesterday you are not there. Yesterday you are not there. Then what year? This will come again. Huh? So here we input values. Okay. We input values, right? When we input values like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, this is one value. We split into how many values? 5 values. And stored in how many variables? 5 variables, and we print it. That's it. And here we input two values. I mean one value. We split it into two values. Okay. This is one value. We split into two values. Okay. Now after writing this program, okay, now just go to the command prompt. So just go to the command prompt here. Now your folder is F drive. In F drive, in F drive. So that is you are working in this. You are working in this. So I'm writing here Python. So what is my program here? Test. The name of the program is test35. Test35.py. I'm sending 100, 200, and 300. So now these values are called which one here? Command line arguments. Okay, these are called which one here? Command line arguments. These are called command line arguments. Okay. So the values which are sent from command prompt, the values which are sent from command prompt, so that you can call it as command line arguments. Okay. Now if you see this one, now these are the values, right? And where these values are sent, now you can see these are the values. Now this is my command and these are arguments. See, all these are the arguments, and these arguments are sent to which program? Test35.py. Now all these values are stored in one variable. What is this variable here? argv. Actually, argv is a list. Argv is a list. What it contains is the program itself and separated with all my values. So that is 100, okay, 200, okay, 300, and one more is what? 400. So total how many values are stored here? 5 values, including your program name. Including your program name, total how many values it will store? 5 values, not 4 values. Including your program name, total it will try to store how many values? 5 values, including your program name. Okay. Including your program name. Now, once I run this, now you can see. Now you can see test35.py. First value in this argv is what? Program name itself. And second value is what here? 100. Third value is what here? 200. Fourth value is a 300, and fifth value is what? 400. But each value, it is just like a list I said. And this list is each value is identified with one index. So this value is 0, this value is 1, and this value is 2, and this value is 3, and this value is what here? 4. So total 5 values are there. If you want to read values in your program, you can write what you can write argv. Argv of what is that? 1. What is the value of argv of 100? Okay, if I say argv, okay, argv of 2, what is the value of argv of 2? 200. Okay, and if I'm writing argv ARGV of 3. What is the value at ARGV of 3? This value is what here? 300. If I'm writing ARGV of 4, ARGV of 4, what is the value at ARGV of 4? 400. Okay, now this is how you're trying to do it. But your values get stored from which position? Second position. Your values get stored from which position? Second position. Because first position, your program itself, program or file name itself. So that is the first argument. Okay, now this is how the values get stored in sys.argv. Now you have to run this program. From where you have to run this program from? From where? Command prompt. I just copy this both program and execution. So you have to execute from where? Command prompt. Because command line arguments means you have to give the input from where? Command prompt. Command line arguments means you have to give the input from command prompt. Okay. No, ARGV is a predefined variable. I said no, ARGV is a predefined variable. ARGV is a predefined variable of which module? Sys module. You cannot use any other variable name because these values get stored in one predefined variable. You cannot give any other values because these values get stored in one predefined variable. It's stored in one predefined variable. You cannot give any other things, right? Okay, suppose the values in command line arguments are stored. So command line arguments, if you are talking about this, command line arguments, command line arguments are stored inside, command line arguments are stored inside ARGV in string format. So it means always the command line arguments are which type? String type. Always the command line arguments are which type? String type. Okay. So command line arguments, I said no, it is required. Sometimes, for example, you are developing one program called copy command. One command you are developing copy. Copy, I'm trying to say file one space file two. What is the name of my program? Copy. So to this copy program, you're sending how many inputs here? 2 inputs. Okay, now this is the command. This is a command which is written in Python. Assume that if this command is written in Python, which command is written in Python? Copy. To this, you are giving how many inputs from the prompt? 2 inputs. One is file 1 and one more is a file 2. You are giving how many inputs to this copy? 2 inputs. One is a file 1 and one more is what here? File 2. So that is what I'm saying. No, like most of the utilities. For example, I said yesterday, in Python, there is one command. What is a command? Pip. Pip is a command, but this command is written in Python only. This pip is a command, and this command is written in which language? Python. Now you'll say pip install. I'm saying pip install numpy. You are telling this pip program install which library? Numpy library. Means how many values you are sending to this pip? 2 values. One is a install and one more is what? Numpy. So what pip program will do? It will search for this numpy library from where? Website. What is that website? Python package index, and from there it will download and install. So you are giving some inputs to the program, right? You are giving some inputs to the program. From where you are giving inputs to the program? You are giving some inputs to the program. From where you are giving inputs to the program? From command prompt. That you call it as what here? Command line arguments. That is where command line arguments are used. Okay, suppose, assume that. So always this command line arguments are stored in which format? String format or string type. For example, I want to add two numbers. Write a program to add, write a program to add two numbers using command line, using what? Command line arguments. Write a program to add two numbers using command line arguments. Okay. So I have to use command line arguments for adding two numbers. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to say number one. Now you are giving input for number one using input function or command line. Command line. So what I'm saying, integer of a import. I need to import which module? Sys module, and I'm saying sys dot argv. Argv is a predefined variable of one. Number two equal to integer of argv of 2. You are trying to read how many values? Argv of 1, argv of 2. First command line argument value and second command line argument value. And these two values you assign to how many variables? Two variables. The first variable is num1 and second variable is what? Num2. And after assigning the values, you are trying to perform which operation here? Addition. Okay. But from where you are sending these values from? Command prompt. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, how can I execute this? Not directly. If I execute directly, you'll get the error. Because are you given any values in as argv? No. You have to give the values for this from where? Command prompt. You have to give the values from command prompt. So what I'm saying, Python some test 36.py, and I said here 10 space 20. When I say 10 space 20, now this both the values are stored in one variable. This variable is there in which module? This variable is there in which module? Sys module. In sys module, there is one variable, and this variable holder, which object here? List object. And this list object is having how many values? Three values. The first value is a program name itself. Second value is what? 10. And third value is what? 20. And I'm not taking program name. I'm taking which one? Values. 0. The value at 0 is a 10. The value at 1 is what? 20. The value at 0 is 10 and the value 1 is 20. And these values are which type? String type. And you are converting these values. This is argv of, sorry, this is 1 and this is what here? 2 and this is what? 0. So I'm not taking first value, but I'm taking which one? Second value. Now this is argv of 1, which is 10, argv of 2, which is what? 20. And these two values you are converting into which type? Integer type. And that is nothing but 10 plus 20. What is the equivalent value? 30. What is the value of number 1? 10. What is the value of number 2? 20. What is the value of number 3? 30. Getting on or not? So how can you send values? How can you read the values without using input? How can you read values without using input? You can input from where? Command prompt. So that you can call it as command line arguments. Okay, that you are saying it as command line arguments, and once you run this, you can see 10 is a number 1, 20 is a number 2, and 30 is a number 3. But these values are strings, not integers. These values are what here? Strings, and you are converting these values from strings to what? Integers. Okay. Okay, now this is one more example of this command line arguments. Okay. Now I think you understood like how to work with this command line arguments, and next we'll go for is a simple thing like how to work now, but this is repeated. This command line arguments repeated when we work with the files. This command line arguments repeated when we work with the files, but just try to understand what is a command line arguments. Okay, and about which module? Sys module, right? Sys refers to which one? Sys module is having functions belongs to which one? Python virtual machine. So what is the system here? Which one is called as a system here? Python virtual machine. Which one is called as a system here? Python virtual machine. Yes. Correct. Nitesh, correct. Yes. Yes, yes. In Unix system from terminal. Yes. Here it is console. There it is from terminal. Yes. Correct. Okay. Then next one is okay. So there is a next chapter we'll see. What is the next chapter you have is a control. Now next chapter is control structures. Control structures or control structures or control statements. Okay. Control structures or control statements. Control statements. Okay. There is a control structures or control statements. Now from here we have to move little bit fast, right? Okay. Now up to this we have seen fundamentals because of I was little bit slow, right? Now onwards we'll move faster. So command line control statements, and after this we learn data structures function. Now this is very simple concepts. I'll make it little bit faster. This is okay. Okay. Control structures are control statements. Control structures. What is the need of this control structures or control statements? The name itself, control statements. The name itself, right? Control statements. Now, control statements are used to control the flow of execution of program. What is the control statements are? Control statements are used to control the flow of execution of which one? Program. Now control statements are used to control the flow of execution of program. Okay, flow of execution of program. So that can be done by using which statements? Control statements. So what is the default flow of execution of program? Sequential. For example, my program is having 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My program is having how many statements? 5 statements. First it will execute first statement, then second statement, then third statement, then fourth statement, and then what? Fifth statement. It means all the statements are executed how? Sequentially. Means my execution control start executing from first statement. After that, the execution control is moved toward second statement, and after that, execution control is moved to third statement, and after that, execution control is moved to fourth statement, and after that, execution control moved to which statement? Fifth statement. It means how the execution of your program is. The execution of your program is in which order? Sequential order, that is 1 by 1. The execution of your program is in sequential order, that is 1 by 1, 1 by 1. Sequential order, that is nothing but 1 by 1. And if you want to change the flow of execution of program, then you take the help of control structures or control statements. It means, for example, I want to execute first statement. Now suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is there. I want to execute first statement, then after that second statement, and based on the second statement, I want to execute third statement or fourth statement. I want to move the execution control based on some condition. Okay, either to third statement or to what? Fourth statement or fifth statement. Then I use which statements here? control statements. Or I want to repeat some I want to repeat some statements one or more than one time. I want to repeat the statements one or more than one time. How can I repeat the statements one or more than one time? By repeating inside one, by storing inside one statement. And what is that statement here? Looping statement. So where you can repeat the statements either one or more than one time or until given condition. One or more than one time or until given condition. Now all these are done by using which statements here? Control statements, or what is that? Control structures. I said in the beginning, a problem can be solved in different ways. A given problem can be solved in different ways. There are actually, there are three types of algorithms, right? There are three types of algorithms. Okay, first one is called, which is called as sequential. First one is called as which one? Sequential algorithm, where all the statements are executed all the statements are executed one by one to solve a given problem. For example, I want to add two numbers. Okay, input first number, input second number, add two numbers and display result. Okay, input first number, input second number. Okay, add two numbers and then display what? Result. Now this is sequential. Suppose I want to find the max of two numbers. Okay, input first number, input second number. I want to find the max of two numbers. Input first number, input second number, and then you write one condition. If A is greater than B, execute this statement. Otherwise, execute what? This statement. Now you are trying to execute the statements based on which one? Condition or selection. And that you call it as which algorithm? Selection algorithm. You are trying to execute the statements based on the condition or what? Selection. That is called as selection algorithm. Now, sometimes a given problem, you cannot solve it by executing statements only one time. In that case, you try to repeat that statements either one or more than one time. Then you try to put inside one loop. You try to put inside one loop. Now that you call it as what? That is called as, first one is sequential selection and one more is a iterational. Iterational means repeating. Now, a problem is solved by repeating the statements either one or more than one time. That you call it as what? Iterational. It means there are different ways of solving a given problem, right? So by executing all the statements in sequential order, or executing the statements based on the condition, or repeating the statements more than one time. Repeating the statements more than one time, right? So control structures are here two types. Okay, one is called as conditional statements. One more is what here? Looping control statements. Okay, first one is conditional statements and one more is looping control statements. Or the same thing you call it as iterational statements. The same thing is called as iterational. Okay, iterative statements. Okay. Iterative statements. Iterative means repeating one or more than one time. That you can call it as which statements? Iterative statements. Okay. So first, these are called conditional statements. Python support only one conditional statement, that is if. And Python support two iterational statements or iterative statements. One is a while and one more is what? For. One is a while and one more is a for. There is conditional operator, right? There is conditional operator. When there is a conditional operator, then what is the need of conditional statement, right? There's conditional operator is there. There is a conditional operator. When there is a conditional operator, then what is the need of conditional statement? Only one is there. If, but there is no switch. There is no switch. If you are coming from C, C++, C++, and Java, you find if and one more is what? Switch. But in Python, there is no switch. Okay, that is where I said no, Python removed unnecessary things. The things which are not required, the things which are not required in application development, those things are removed. Now there is no do while. There is no do while in what? Python. There's no do while in Python. When you are working with C, C++ and Java, you find while loop, entry control loops and exit control loops. Entry control loops are while and for, and exit control loop is do while. But in Python, there is no do while. Python, there is no do while. It means there are certain things which are not used in application development. Those have been removed. That is main objective of Python is making Python programming languages more simple. Okay, more simple by removing unnecessary things which are not required in application development, which is not used in application development, right? First one is conditional statement. Statement, only one is there. Only one is there. Now this makes it learning process of Python is more easy, right? Because you don't have to learn the same thing in multiple ways, but rather than you'll write everything in how many ways? Only one. So if is there, if statement, if a statement, if statement. So there is a conditional operator. There is a conditional if is called if is a keyword. Okay, if is what here? Keyword. And if is a conditional statement, if is a conditional statement, and this statement is used, the statement is used to execute block of statements based on which one? Condition. If you want to execute a block of statements based on a condition, you are using if. Now there are different types of ifs are there. One is simple if, and second one is if else, and third one is nested if. Third one is nested if, and fourth one is if if and else, which is called as if else ladder. It is called as if else ladder. Now there are multiple if statements are there. If is a conditional statement, and this statement is used to execute block of statements based on some condition. So there are different types of if statements are there. One is simple if, second one is if else, third one is nested if, fourth one is if else, if else. This is called as if else ladder. It means using if after else. Now, what is the difference between conditional operator and conditional statement? What is the difference between conditional operator and conditional statement? This is conditional statement, but already we have said conditional operator, right? Already I said conditional operator. How conditional operator? Operand 1 if, operand 2 else, operand 3. Okay, you are writing like this: operand 1 if, operand 2 else, operand 3. This is called as which statement? Conditional operator. Okay, can I write only if without else? Tell me, can I write only if without else? Can I write it? No, I cannot write it because it is which operator? Ternary operator. It is which operator? Ternary operator. If I'm saying ternary operator, it required how many operands? 3 operands. Okay. Operand 1, operand 2, as well as operand 3. This is required operand 1, operand 2, and operand 3. I cannot write else without if. If should be followed by which one? Else. But my application required only write a condition. If the condition is true, execute the statements. Otherwise, don't do anything. Can I skip this else part when I'm writing conditional operator? No, I cannot skip else part. I must write which part here? Else part. Because it is which operator? Conditional operator. And if the condition is a true, I want to execute 100 statements. Suppose I'm developing a reservation application. Okay, reservation application. If seats are available, then I want to execute some 100 statements. 100 statements I want to execute. 100 statements means 100 operators, 100 operands. How many statements I want to execute? 100. Can I write 100 here? Can I write 100 statements here or only one statement? Only one statement. I cannot write 100 statements. It means it is not blocked structure. It is not blocked structure. I want to execute a block of statements based on some condition. I cannot execute a block of statements based on the condition. If I want to execute a block of statements based on a condition, then I have to use which one? Conditional statement. What is that conditional statement here? If. Getting or not? Okay, not only that, writing complex conditions by using conditional operator is not possible. Complex conditions that no, that is not possible using which one here? Conditional operator. Definitely have to go for which one? Conditional statements. Have to go for conditional statements, right? Yes. I said 100 statements. 100 statements you have to write in one line. You cannot write in next line also. Yeah. 100 statements, how you write in one line? Srinivas T. 100 statements I want to write in one line. Conditional operator doesn't write, allows you to write in multiple lines, right? So you have to write in one line. How can you write in one line? That is what I'm saying. No, complicated. Writing the things are what here? Complicated. Okay, right? So yes, just try to see it. Okay, right now there is a yes. We'll try to see simple if. Okay, the first statement is here simple if. What is this simple if is? Generally, you'll say if without else. If without else, if without else is called, if without else is called simple if. What is a simple if is? If without else. Now, the if statement without else statement is called which one here? Simple if. If statement without else statement is called which one here? Simple if, right? So there is no else part in this. There's no else part in this. That you call it as which one? Simple if, right? So what is the syntax of this simple if is? Now there is only one block. There's only one. This is a syntax here. The syntax is if is there, if it followed by some condition, if followed by some condition. So if followed by some condition is there, and if is a block, and the block is begin with the colon, block is begin with what here? Colon. And after colon, you have to change the indent. Indent should be defined. Indent is nothing but space. Okay, indent is nothing but a space. Now that is including the statements within the block. Okay, including the statements within the block. You are including the statements within the block, right? So how many statements you include inside the block here? 3 statements. Getting on. So if the condition is a true, if the condition is a true, you are executing how many statements here? 3 statements. If the condition is a true, you are executing 3 statements. And here I am writing statement 4. So how many statements are included inside the if here? 3 statements. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. But how can you say that 3 statements are inside the if? By saying which one? Indentation. Okay, indentation. So this is indentation, right? So indent is nothing but a space. And you are including statements within the if by giving which one? Indent. You are including the statements within the if by changing what? Indent. So indent is nothing but a space. Is it statement 4 is within the if or outside the if? Outside the if. Because this indent is at if and the statement both indent are same or not? Yes. This statement 4 is not within the if. The statement 4 is where? Outside the if. The statement 4 is not within the if. The statement 4 is outside the if, right? So if condition is true, if condition is true, it execute. It execute which one? Statement 1, statement 2, okay, statement 3, and continue with with what here? Statement 4. If condition is false, it execute what? Statement 4. Because this is not a part of if. So in Python doesn't allow empty blocks. Python doesn't allow what? Empty blocks. You cannot write empty blocks in Python. Okay, Python doesn't allow empty blocks. Means a block, when you're saying if is a block, right? The block must have at least one statement. The block must have at least one statement. You cannot write empty blocks in Python. If you are writing empty blocks in Python, the Python compiler generates what? Error. Okay. So empty blocks are not allowed. And block is defined by changing what here? Indent. Block is defined by changing indent, right? Yes. Now if you see this flow chart of this, if, right? Simple if. Simple if means, what is simple if? If without else. If without else is called as what here? Simple if, right? So how this is? Now there is a start. Now this is a flow chart. I'm drawing the flow chart for this. There is a start and it followed by what? It followed by condition. This is a condition. Okay. Now this is a condition. And if the condition is a true, okay, if the condition is a true, you are executing some statements. If the condition is a true, you are executing some statements, right? If the condition is a true, you are executing some statements. There is some statements. There is a statement 1, statement 2 like this. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. Okay. And after executing the statements, you are trying to execute one more statement. Okay, after executing the statement, it will continue with the statement which is there outside. And what is the statement there outside here? Statement, okay, statement 4. So that is if condition is true, if the condition is false, there is no else block, right? So it will continue with the rest of the statements. If the condition is a false, it will continue the rest of the statements. Now this is continue the rest of the statements. And after that, so there is a statement here. This is what here, stop. This is a flowchart for this conditional statement here, right? Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. If the condition is a true, and continue with statement 4. If the condition is a false, directly to execute which one? Statement 4. That is a statement which is there outside. That is a statement which is there where outside the if. That is a statement which is there outside the if. Outside the if, the statement which is there outside the if, right? So this is how you are trying to write. Okay, but you cannot write empty block. What I mean to tell you is, for example, I'm writing new, and if I'm writing if, okay, if 100 is greater than 20, if 100 is greater than 20, if you press enter, immediately it is given what? Indent. Immediately it is given what? Indent. Indent. See, it means, is it given space automatically or not? Yes. This indicates is the beginning of the block. This indicates it is the beginning of what? Block, right? This is indent. Indent is changed or not? Yes. Okay. If I don't write anything inside this block, if I don't write anything inside this block, what will happen? If I don't write anything inside the block, what will happen? It gives a error. What is the error? Expected and indented block after if statement on line number 1. It is a block. When you're saying block, block must have at least one. It is a block. Block must have at least one statement. Block must have at least one statement. I'm writing one statement. What is that statement I'm writing? Python. Is it this condition is a true or false? True. Then execute which one? Python, right? 100 is greater than 20? Yes. So it will print. What is the message it prints here? Python, right? Once I run this, what is the message here? Python. Suppose I've done the mistake, like I write if statement and print statement in the same line. Is it this statement is within the if or outside the if? Outside the if. Is it this print statement is within the if or outside the if? Outside the if, not within the if, right? It is not within the if, it is outside the if. So what will happen if I run this? Tell me here, what will happen if I run this? Will it gives an error or not? Yes, because it must have at least one statement. It must have at least one statement or not? Yes. If I run this, it is given expected and indented block after a statement on line number 1. So the block must have at least one statement. The block must have at least one statement. And you define the block by changing what here? Indent. By changing intent. Now in this case, what is the message displayed? Python. Okay. Now if I'm writing a print something like C++, what is the output in this case? How many statements are there here? In if, how many statements are there? One statement. After if, how many statements are there? One statement. Is it this condition is a true or not? Yes. Then it will print Python and print what? C++. It will print Python and C++. If I'm writing 200, 100 is greater than 200. Is it this condition is a true or false? False. Then will it execute this if block? No. It will continue rest of the statements. And what is that statement? You'll get C++. Because is it this condition is false or not? Yes. Now you cannot write empty blocks. But if you want to write empty blocks, You cannot write empty blocks, but if you want to write empty block, you can write an empty block by including one statement. You can write empty block by including one statement. What statement you can include is pass. There is one statement called which one? Pass. Now what is the output of this program? Python and C++. Sometimes in application development, what will happen is, in application development, what will happen is, I want to write a condition, but I want to include the statements later. I want to write a condition, but I want to include the statements later. Means I want to write some empty blocks. I want to write empty blocks. Suppose if 100 is greater than 20, but I want to include the statements later. I don't want to include the statements now. I write a condition, but I want to include the statements later. Then how can I write an empty block? I can write an empty block in Python by including one statement called what? Pass. I can write an empty block in Python by using which statement? Pass. Pass means don't do anything. Okay, pass means what? Don't do anything. I write a condition, but if condition is a true, I'm saying that don't do anything. Don't do anything by just including one statement. Don't do anything by just including one statement. And what is the statement I included here? Pass. So don't do anything. That is nothing but null operation. So that is nothing but which operation here? Null operation. So is it anything is done here? No. This is called as which block? Empty blocks. Okay. So in Python, empty blocks. Now what is pass in Python? This question is asked, right? What is pass in Python? What is pass in Python, right? Now what is a pass here? What is a pass? Pass is a keyword. Okay, now. Pass is a keyword in Python. Pass is a keyword in Python. Pass is a keyword. Okay, now is a keyword in Python, and pass means pass is used. Pass keyword or statement is used to define which one? Empty blocks. Is used to define empty blocks in what? Python. Empty blocks in Python. Okay. Empty block. You want to write the statements later, but you want to write a block. You don't want that to be perform any operation, right? You include simply which statement? Pass. Pass means not break. Pass means not break. Pass means null operation. Pass keyword doesn't perform any operation. It is called null operation. It is called which operation here? Null operation means don't do anything. If condition is a true, don't do anything. It's nothing but what? Empty. Okay, don't do anything means what? It is what? Empty. Don't do anything means empty. Okay, so that is which keyword here? Pass keyword. Pass keyword doesn't perform any operation. It is called which operation here? Null operation. Generally, this is called as empty block. This is called as which one here? Empty block. If the condition is true, you are not doing anything. Okay, like while developing projects, what will happen is you write so many conditions. You write so many conditions, but you want to include the statements later. Okay, suppose here I want to write a logic like transaction type equal to deposit. If the transaction type is deposit, I want to perform some operation. If transaction type equal to withdraw, if transaction type is withdraw, I want to perform some operation. Now here I write the logic of which one? Withdraw, but I want to write the logic of deposit later. But I write one condition in the program, but I want to include the logic later, because first I want to write the logic of which one? Withdraw, and on successful execution of withdraw logic, I want to write which one? Deposit. But how many conditions are there in the program? Two conditions. One is deposit and one more is withdraw. but I've written withdraw logic and I try to work on withdraw logic. Once withdraw logic is successful, then I want to work on which logic? Deposit. But I want to write a condition, but I don't want to write any statements. I want to write the statements later, but still I want to execute the program. Then you write which statement? Pass. Getting on? So you write so many things in your program, but you try to write the code based on your requirement. Based on your requirement, you just include the statements. Then how can you write the empty blocks? And you write the empty blocks by just including one statement called which one? Pass. Pass means don't do anything. It's nothing but null operation. So there's no meaning of writing multiple pass statements within the block. Okay, 200 is greater than 10. If I write multiple pass statements, is it any meaning? No. There's no meaning, right? Pass means what will happen? Nothing will happen, right? So pass means null operation. Again, pass means what? Null operation. But once you say pass, if you write any statement, also there is no meaning. Suppose you said pass, means generally you write a pass for writing which block? Empty block. Okay, you are saying empty block and you are saying hello. You are saying this block is what? Empty, and you are saying hello. Getting or not? You are saying this block is empty, but you are saying what? Hello. What is the output you'll get? Is it block is empty or print hello? Print hello, right? Print what here? Hello. When you are saying empty block, you should not write any. When you're saying empty block, you should not write any statement. If you write any statement that indicates it's not empty, then there's no point of which one? There's no point of which one? Pass. There's no point of writing which statement? Pass. Getting or not? You are saying empty. One box is empty. You said box is empty, but within that you put some item. Then is it empty? No. You're saying it is empty, but you put some item. So is the item is there or empty? Item is there. You're also same thing. You're saying block is empty, but you put one item. One item is one statement. Is it empty or is it having one statement? Having one statement. So what will happen in this case? You'll get the message, hello. You'll get the message what? Hello. Pass means not break. Don't think that pass means break, right? Pass means not break. Pass means nothing. Don't do anything, right? Null. Don't do anything. Don't perform anything. Don't do anything. That you call it as which one? Pass. So once you write a block as an empty, don't include any executable statements. That is the rules. Those are naming. I mean, some conventions and some rules are there while writing or developing projects in what? Python. When you're saying empty, don't write any executable statements. When you're saying empty, don't write any executable statements. If you are writing executable statements, other programmers, what they'll think, he's saying empty, why is executing that statement? You are saying empty. First you are saying empty and then you are executing statement. Is it logically error or not? Yes. When you're saying empty, keep it what? Empty only. When you're saying empty, keep it what? Empty only. Don't write any executable statements. If you are saying empty and write executable statement, means this is a block contain executable statements. It is not an empty block. It is not an empty block, right? Yes. So empty block doesn't have any executable statements according to the Python logic, right? But if you write any executable statement, is it that statement is executed or not? Yes. But I said no, I should not write like this. But in some technical questions, they may ask you like, what will happen if I write pass after that any statement? Will it print that statement or execute that statement or not? Yes. This is called as empty block. This is called which block here? Empty block. Empty block. A block which doesn't perform any operation, right? Yes. But you cannot. You can write multiple pass statements, but there's no meaning of writing. There's no meaning of writing multiple pass statements. There's no meaning, right? Empty एक बार बोले तो बस है ना, बार बार क्यों बोलना pass 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 बोल के? कुछ होता है क्या? नहीं होता, right? Okay, if you write only one time pass, you're saying it's an empty. You should say 3 times empty, empty, empty. No, If I say one time empty, it is empty. Yes or no? Okay, you should not require to say three times empty, right? If you write three times empty, what will happen? Will it do anything? No, nothing. It's empty means empty only. Either you write three times or 10 times, it's empty only, right? Yes. There is one more. There is one more syntax is there. Okay, one more syntax of if, and that syntax is called which one? If else is there. If else. Now let us see first the syntaxes, and then we'll see the examples, right? So this is a syntax 2. Okay, this is a syntax 2 here. In the syntax 2, you are saying if, again you are writing condition. This syntax 2, what is the syntax 2 here? What is the syntax 2? If and else. This syntax is if the syntax defines, okay, two blocks. The syntax define two blocks. One is if block. First one is if block, and second one is what here? Else block. This syntax is having how many blocks here? Two blocks. If block and one more is a else block. If block is a true block and else block is what? False block. Okay, so if condition, so you have to define the indentation or not. Yes. If there is a condition and you are including some statements, there is a statement 1 and statement 2, and else is one more block. Else is one block. If is one block. See here, this is a block. Block is defined by changing indent. Block is defined by changing what? Indent. Indent is nothing but space. How many spaces? Some three spaces, right? Statement 3 and statement 3 and statement 4. So how many statements are there in if block? Two statements. How many statements are there in else block? Two statements. If condition is true, it execute what? Statement 1 comma statement 2. If condition is false, it execute else block. It execute else block with statement 3 comma statement 4. But see, if you see this if and else is in the same line or different line? Same line. It is not in the different line. It is in the same line, right? Just see here. Sorry. Now just here, name the keyword which helps in writing code involves condition. Tell me here, name the keyword which helps in writing code involves condition. What keyword? What keyword is used? If, which involved in condition is what here? If. What is the syntax of simple if statement? If followed by if followed by what? Condition. If followed by condition and you are writing some statements. Is there any limit of statements that can appear under an if block? Inside the if block, can you write any number of statements or any limitation is there? You can write any number of statements. There's no limitation of that. There's no limitation. You can write any number of statements. You can write any number of statements within if block. There's no limitation of writing this many number of statements, right? So this kind of programs we'll see, all these programs we'll see and try to do some. So what do you mean by statement? What do you mean by statement? The question is, what do you mean by statement? A statement is an instruction. Already attending Python class, so 6 p.m. class is free for us. Or that is Django. You're talking about Django. Annu Rathor. Django. Django is not a free course. It is a paid course. But when you if you join Django, this is free. HTML, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap is free. Okay, because for web development you require these things, right? Okay. What do you mean by statement here? Statement is an instruction which can be executed by what? Python virtual machine, right? So executable line is a program. What is that? It is called as which one? Instruction. Instruction. It is called as which one? Instruction. Okay, instruction. Okay, statement is nothing but executable instruction that you can call it as which one? Statement. That is called as a statement. Anyway, so these programs, if you do these programs, right? But anyway, we'll try to see other syntaxes. But total 7 test papers are there. 7 means 10. 10 into 7 is 70 questions are there. If you do this 70 questions, you'll be knowing how to write logic using if. You'll be knowing how to write a logic using if you do this 70 programs. Okay, if you sit in the lab and you start practicing it, right? Definitely you can solve this 70 programs. But that you can do it once we complete other syntaxes of if. We'll try to see other syntaxes of if. Okay, but before that, we'll try to write the flow chart for this syntax 2. This is a flow chart for syntax 2. There is a start. You have to practice, please. You have to practice and you have to read before coming to the class. Every day you complete your task. Try to complete the task on the same day, means reading or doing programs. Okay, don't postpone it. Otherwise, rest of the things you cannot understand. Okay, so try to do on the same day so that your task will be over. Now, happily you can learn Python. Otherwise, everything will be bounced back, right? Try to do on the same day. If it is there or not, try to do some programs. Maybe after this, if maybe you can do some logical programs in Hackers Rank. I'll try to tell you logical programs in Hackers Rank as well as Code Chef, like that. But after completing the syntaxes, this is one block and this is another block. So two blocks are there. No, one is if block and one more is what? Else block. This is statement 3 and this is statement 4. There's a statement 3 and there is statement 4 and this is stop here. And I'm saying no, like those who want to learn Django, you can attend in the evening 7 o'clock. Sorry, 6 p.m. batch. Yesterday I started Django batch. Those who are interested, they can join that. Okay, now Python developer. If you want to become a Python developer, I said no. If you want to get a job easy in Python, what I said is you learn some combinations, and this is one combination. This combination belongs to web development, or internet application development. Now, if you are interested in web development, then you can attend this Django web development, like developing web applications. Like Instagram is a web application. Facebook is what? Web application. All these are web applications. And if you are interested in web development, you can join. Okay. Because now at this stage, some students, they have a doubt like, can I join now? You can join because initially I'll be starting with HTML, CSS, JavaScript and Bootstrap. And that will take some 20 classes. By that time, 20 classes, you'll be completing some part of which one? Python. Okay, then happily you can learn which one? Django, right? So if you want to attend, you can attend in the evening 6 o'clock. Okay, because if you want to do it parallelly, you can do it. No problem in that. Because first 20 classes will be HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Without that, you cannot learn, right? Okay. This is a flow chart. This is a flow chart for if else. Fees, I don't know yet. You have to ask in the office. So generally, I don't talk about fees in my class. Generally, but keep on asking, then I cannot do anything. Okay. Fees related things you have to ask in the main of, I mean, contact Naresh IT. Contact Naresh IT people only. Okay. Right. Okay, fine. Now tomorrow we'll see how to work with this if and else and other syntaxes. Okay, now we'll try to see some logical programs in Hackers Rank. Tomorrow I'll tell you some programs in Hackers Rank as well as Code Chef, right? So we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue this, right? Thank you.